You saw that NPR story, the story that NPR broke about
Yep.
them withholding the information from the Epstein files that related to Donald Trump, and now other news organizations have jumped in. This is the New York Times today saying the Epstein files are missing records about woman who made claim against Trump. Documents released by the Justice Department briefly mention a woman's unverified accusation that Donald J. Trump assaulted her in the 1980s when she was a minor, but several memos related to her account are not in the files.
Well, and keep in mind,
Shocking.
Don, it's unverified. Keep in mind, this and other claims are unverified because they didn't investigate them.
Yeah,
Because
investigate. If you want to verify them or say that exonerate him, investigate.
because unverified doesn't mean cleared of any suspicion. It means it hasn't been investigated. So I don't know. Do that. Crazy thought. And here's the thing: it's unverified because he's a rich white guy, billionaire, who's been living off of the privilege of being a rich white billionaire in this country forever. This has been going on for a long time, well before any of us were talking about the Epstein files, well before a lot of this was made public light. It was happening in real life because I believe survivors. It's funny that we have all of these survivors, so many survivors telling the same story consistently across the board, but we don't believe the living survivors until we see the files of a dead white man. And so like that speaks volumes right there to the patriarchy that we live in. But at the end of the day, the key word here is unverified, meaning uninvestigated, meaning no one has taken the time to look into these claims and give them the investigation time, money, and effort that they are due. And that's because Donald Trump uses money and influence to bury it.
Did you see? And I said I know you didn't watch it, but did you see
Allegedly,
any?
for Don's sake.
Allegedly, reportedly, all of it is allegedly. No, seriously. So this is that was a New York Times report. There is another report. This is my friend Aaron Burnett over on CNN speaking with Ro Khanna, and I think it's a family member of Miss Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre. Here it is.
Congressman, I know that you've been you were able to go into the room and look at some of the unredacted files. You had a very brief window. They were tracking everything that you looked at, right? But you had that brief moment. Do you think that we will ever see the files that have not been released or even the full files, the parts that have been, the redacted or left out? And do you know how much that we haven't seen, right? How would you describe the volume that we don't yet know about?
Right. I would say we haven't seen about half, and it's the worst half. And the fact that we've seen half, and it's already stirred the conscience of this country, that shocked the conscience, shows how bad the stuff that we haven't seen is. And here's what I used to say. I used to say when we have the next president, we'll see all of it. But I don't know if they've permanently redacted and damaged some of these files. We have to see how much has actually been damaged of the original files. But there's also the courts, and I hope the Southern District of New York will now act on what Massey and I have been suggesting for months, which is to appoint a special master to actually get compliance for this law. But neither Congressman Massey or I are going to quit until we get these files released.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
think about what we've already seen being labeled by people who have seen more than us as the not so bad half. Right. And also, let me just reiterate something I said on your stream recently. If you were to be accusing me of something so egregious as these accusations, and I had the files that would prove my innocence, and I had the power to have them released, they would be released without prejudice expeditiously. Any innocent person would want their name cleared of these are very egregious crimes that they're accused of committing. And any sensible person would want their name cleared. So if you're screaming that these clear your name, or in the words of Donald Trump, they exonerate him, then let's see them. Let's see these files that exonerate you. Rather, what we are actually seeing with our eyes, ears, and brains is you actively block them from being fully released. And those who work around you and under you are in cahoots with you to redact the names of perpetrators and to delete files that were originally released and to cover up other files that haven't yet been released. These are not the actions of an innocent person. I don't have to be an FBI graduate. I don't have to have a degree in any specific field to understand that if you're blocking the release of files that you claim could exonerate you, they in fact do not exonerate you.
And people are suffering consequences. People are being investigated. People are being arrested who have fewer references and connections to Donald Trump. This ABC story, I mean, look, NPR did a hell of a job on this, but everyone is picking up on it and finding new details. The ABC News story says DOJ appears to have withheld some Epstein documents containing allegations against Trump. Oversight Democrats say an analysis suggests that more than 50 pages of material were withheld here. And then it goes through, if you keep going, Andy, it says that some of the language in this, they gave a warning before that this story contains explicit language. The Department of Justice appears to have withheld dozens of pages of witness notes and reports about an alleged victim of the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who, according to Representative Robert Garcia of California, accused President Donald Trump of assaulting her when she was a minor. An index of witness material prepared in advance of the trial of Epstein convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell suggests that FBI agents interviewed the woman identified by Garcia 4 times in 2019, but an ABC News search of the DOJ's vast public archive of Epstein files found a report about just one of the meetings. So people are having to go back who have maybe some people who have seen some of this material, or they know that this material is there, or they're looking at the numbers on the pages and they're saying, wait a minute, some of these documents are missing. And so is this, the cover-up is worse than the crime part of the story? Is that where we're getting to now?
I wouldn't say worse than the crime. Nothing's worse than what they're being accused of. Nothing could be worse than what they're being accused of. But I will say that I agree with you that this is one of the most prolific cover-ups in American history. And I would say to you that, do you remember, of course you remember, we all remember, but you remember when Epstein didn't hang himself? And we all knew that this was absolutely not a suicide. We all knew that. Like, it was so blatantly clear that this was somebody had him killed so that he wouldn't speak. And then we watched Ghislaine Maxwell get down to this minimum security prison with work release and all of these privileges that no one ever convicted of the crime she's been convicted of should ever be afforded. So it's very, very clear there's some backdoor deals happening there to keep her quiet. Like, there comes a point where we as the American people have to stop waiting for some institution like the FBI or any other law enforcement agency to declare, yes, charges are coming. Yes, we found this thing. We don't need to wait for that anymore. We've seen enough with our eyes and ears to know exactly what is happening here. Because although these disgusting mother have gotten away with this for years, although they've done these horrific crimes, they are not smart people. When it comes to the cover-up of these crimes, it's like that show that I used to watch as a teenager, The World's Dumbest Criminals. Remember that show?
Yes,
That's what I feel like. It's the worst cover-up in ever conducted, right? Like, you have to be an idiot to not see it. It's like me walking into the kitchen and my kid has chocolate chips all over his face and the cookie jar's open. And I say, well, who was the cookie jar? Wasn't me, Daddy. You know, like, we know you did it and we know they're in it. And we know that these crimes they're being accused of are real. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we waiting for these corrupt institutions that have failed these survivors for years to do something about it? Because they're not going to. It's time for us to stand the fuck up and say, we know what's in there. We're not waiting for you anymore. Accountability is today.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.